If you have been using Card Hobby and you've had some issues, some delays with getting your card shipped, I'm going to do my best to help you in this particular video. And the reason why I want to do this is because, I shouted these guys out all the way back in December, and sort of since then, they've had some issues. Their communication is also a bit poor. So, I feel like somewhat of an obligation to make sure that you guys are getting your cards to you. Now, I should reiterate, I'm not sponsored by these guys. It was something that I briefly mentioned about trying to do. That conversation hasn't really taken place. And the reason being for me wanting to do that is because I like their platform, right? I buy a heck of a lot of cards from there. And I sort of mentioned that when I did my shout out video, and it just happened to be coincidentally that I was over in Hong Kong at the time of that video releasing. I think I recorded it, very late November, and it came out about mid-December. And one of the things I talked to in that video was the fact that they had a lot of really, really cool cards on there. Me in particular, I've bought a lot of my Flawless Soccer cards, and it's gotten me to the point where I can buy some of this stuff for a lot cheaper than what it was selling for in the US. Now, prices seem to have gone up with certain cards since I made that video, and I don't think it was just me. They advertised pretty heavily at the Asia Sports Card Collectors Convention, which I was at, which triggered more and more users to start using them. But the reason why I want to talk about this today, like I said, is they've had significant issues with shipping delays, right? And some of which have been people waiting for things to be shipped for like 4 to 6 weeks, which is pretty crazy, especially when they've paid for it before it gets weighed to be shipped, right? It's pretty, unacceptable in my opinion. And I've helped out a few people already that have reached out to me and said, Daniel, can you help me get my stuff shipped? And I have helped them, but I want to put that all to each of you, today. So you'll see my email in the description below. If you have used Card Hobby and you are waiting for your cards to either get weighed or shipped, please share that with me in an email. And I basically want you to summarize 2 things. What your username is, what the current status is. So are you waiting for your cards to be shipped, or are you waiting for them to be weighed? What was the date that you either paid for your shipment or you requested your weighing? And basically, how long has it been? Because I sort of want, a key summary so I can sort of put together a table and send this all to a contact I have from them and say, here's 50 people that have all these issues. Can you please help facilitate their orders? And, that's not necessarily giving people special treatment. It's more so if you watch the video, and my video, I should say, and you now use the platform, I feel like I said in the opening, have an obligation to make sure that you guys are you're not getting burned. And, I will also reiterate, I've not had anybody reach out to say anything was stolen or missing or anything like that. They are, quite good. And when you do get in touch from somebody, they seem to be quite willing to help. They're just really slow at the moment. And it was sort of one of those things where, they were closed for a period of time because of the Asia Sports Card Collectors Convention in Macau. And then you essentially had the Christmas holiday break, which shut them down. Then you had, Lunar New Year, which also shut them down. Plus, there was also a public holiday, I think, weekend for them. So you've essentially had, a 2-month period, a 3-month period that's had maybe, 3 or 4 weeks of them basically being closed. So they're playing catch up, especially off the back of this huge explosion in users. Now, I don't like it. I don't like the fact they've not been communicative, but they have come out, with a statement in the last 24 hours, which is a bit of trigger for me to reach out to you guys and basically put this video together to say, okay, if you are waiting, please share it with me in an email. I want to put it in a table and send the whole list of everyone, maybe in a few days' time, and then sort of see what Card Hobby have to say. So can you, if you are having one of these issues, can you please have it to me, by the 11th of March, we'll say, 11th in the US, so that'll be the 12th here in Australia. I'll basically send it on the 12th my time, and hopefully get a response for you guys. But I want you to do it, via email, because it's a lot easier for me to track than dropping it down in the comments below. But you can sort of see over here what their current status is. They've basically come out and apologize. What they have communicated to me is that they've basically hired more staff, and they're expecting them to start in April. And you can sort of see here, some people are waiting 50 days. People are talking about shill bidding. I've seen it with a few cards, actually. So if you go back to my original video, I actually mentioned that I hadn't seen all that much shill bidding, but I'm starting to see a little bit more. And I'm not sure if that's just the time of year, but the one thing I will say is that it doesn't appear to be any worse than eBay, at least in my opinion. The cards that I've been buying, and it is Flawless Soccer, so not the most expensive things, but they are still selling for cheaper than they have been in the States. So I think I'm repeating myself now. I do often do that, guys. Sorry, but please reach out to me if you are having an issue. I want to help. I know I don't have an obligation to help technically because I'm not sponsored by these guys. I didn't get paid to talk to them or anything like that. I basically used the service and said, you guys, should be using it too, because I've actually got some pretty cool PC stuff. And because of that, I feel like I have an obligation, even though I just said I don't have one, to make things right for you guys. I want to help, so please reach out so I can help. Try and refrain from doing it in the comments. I just don't want that to happen. I think it's harder to manage doing it in the comments. You can do it if you want, but I also think, you know, you want to protect usernames and all that kind of stuff. So it's easier if you just do it, you know, via email. So it's in a centralized location. It's easy for me to respond, and we'll go from there. So if you have been using it, I think I said already, share what you like about Card Hobby down in the comments below. Obviously, this shipping piece is a mess and I don't like it, but you know, hopefully you guys have picked up some pretty, you know, cool PC stuff. And if you're somebody that has had issues, maybe drop it down in the comments below once your cards arrived and what you thought about the overall process. Like, obviously, yes, the delay is quite poor, but do you think you got cards for your PC cheaper than elsewhere? And you know, I definitely have from a flawless soccer perspective, but what is curious about that is how long is that actually going to last? Because, you know, as more and more people use this platform, does that mean it's going to be harder and harder to find deals? If that is the case, so be it. At least I helped, you know, some of you guys get some cooler PC stuff. If it means I sort of shit the bed for myself and I can't get my flawless soccer stuff for cheap anymore, then it also is what it is. So, you know, thanks for watching, guys. I'm always happy to help. So, you know, please reach out if you need it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.